Good morning, Sydney Football League members and team owners. And welcome to the very first and not final edition of the 2022 SFL Breakdown. Let's jump right into the week one action and preview week two a little bit. Let's go! First up, Squirrel Bay versus the Federalist Chuck Taylor. Justin moved into the top final projection place after Jonathan Taylor led his team with 161 yards and a touchdown on 31 carries. Aaron slipped 2 rungs from top to third in the projections after her loss to Justin, even with Michael Pittman Jr. scoring a Steelers touchdown on 9 of 13 targets and 127 receiving yards. Although Jonathan Taylor, was Justin's only player to score this week. Pittsburgh safety Minkah Fitzpatrick had 15 tackles and an interception. Philly wideout A.J. Brown also caught 10 passes for 155 yards. Moving on. Filthy Fornicators versus the Lamboni Soupsters. Joe started out with a half dozen ballers who scored 10 points plus. And 6 of his players that he started this week scored over 10 points. That's a pretty good average. Clyde, Edwards, Hilaire, and Devontae Adams led Joe's pack with 19 plus points apiece. The former, Edwards Hilaire, reached pay dirt through the air twice on just 3 targets. So they threw the ball 3 times, caught 2 touchdowns. Don't get more efficient than that. Kansas City. Then, the latter, Devontae Adams caught 10 passes on 17 targets for 141 yards and a touchdown in his inaugural first opening game for the Las Vegas Raiders. So, despite, now this is important here because even though Saquon Barkley had a second coming, all those down years, couple down years, especially last year, real rough, injury and all that, he averaged more than 9 yards a carry. Yes, against last week against the Titans. Still, the reigning champion, Eddie, he tallied the lowest total week 1 point total, less than 99 points. So, is there trouble in paradise? How the mighty have fallen? We're going to see a bumble tumble all the way from the top and drop until it don't stop. It hits the rock bottom for Eddie. I don't know. We'll have to see. On to the next game. Show me your TDs versus everybody. The highest score of the week 1 was racked up by Jeffrey. 176 points. What a day, Jeff. Attaboy. Justin Jefferson had a day. 184 yards and 2 end zone entries. DeAndre Swift, Jeff's number 1 pick, ran for 144 yards and entered the end zone himself. But Jeff's starting defense was the lag bolt in his iron curtain. The Steelers scored 27 fantasy points with a block, a fumble, 7 sacks, 4 interceptions, and a defensive touchdown. For Mike, Khalil Mack and Jalen Hurts shined the brightest. Mack had 3 sacks, a forced fumble, and 6 tackles. Hurts threw for 243, ran for 90, and an end zone entry of his own. On to the next game. Pedestal Pigeons versus Snozberry Herd. It's got me licking the wallpaper of my house this week. Just trying to enter into an alternate reality where I didn't lose last minute on a 67-yard receiving score from Jerry Jeudy. Justin Herbert threw for 3 touchdowns and ran for another for Al. Leonard Fournette ran for 127 yards. 2. Formerly the Pedestal Pigeons, now take me home. Country roads, Pat Mahomes. Scored 5 touchdowns, Threw for 360 yards, had 45 points, the best among all fantasy players. Sean slipped in the third in the final projections after Monday night's last-minute loss. Next up, Gypsy Danger versus Allen's Angels. Brian beats Steve at his own game, starting a white-hot Bills defense that had 7 sacks and 3 picks Thursday. Cooper Kupp assisted with 19 fantasy points on 128 receiving yards and a touchdown catch. Lamar Jackson with 3 TDs for Gypsy Danger. And for Allen's Angels, a 36-point Thursday for JA17. 4 total touchdowns. Nick Chubb also ran for 144 yards, and TJ Watt scored that aforementioned defensive touchdown at Cincinnati. That's all we got. This week, let's look at Week 2. Let's look at Week 2. Come on, wake up. Week 2. This week, Jeff and Joe, they duke it out, with Jeff projected by 2 points, just 2, on an expected explosion from Commanders catcher Antonio Gibson. You think Gibson's just going to go buck wild out there? I don't know. I don't think he's proven. Joe, he still has Jamar Chase, Travis Kelce, and a newly emphasized Ezekiel Elliott. It's going to be interesting to see just the type of role Ezekiel Elliott takes in that offense after Dak busted that internal thumb. Let's see. Aaron faces me, Sean, with a 1-point edge, banking on another big game from Bengals ball buster Joe Mixon, who rushed for 82 yards and caught 7 of 9 passes for 63 yards last week. Let's see how Joe Mixon does. Justin's projected to beat Steve by 13 points. Come on, Steve. Eddie and Brian have a closely projected second week. They come down to Gypsy Danger's defensive players. Keep an eye on the individual defensive players for Gypsy Danger's. Got a strong individual defensive player core. Lastly, Al and Mike are separated by 11 points. Projected with everybody hurts as the favorite after Harrison Butker has been ruled out for the Chiefs. All right.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so